With Watch Dogs 3 being out for a couple days, I found myself more excited to play this game than I've ever felt for a game in a really long time. I started 2020 thinking it would be the year of the games and it would finally become fun for me again. But after spending 7 months inside playing nothing but shitty games in Civ 5 while watching every single game I care about get delayed into oblivion, that hope kinda faded. But Watch Dogs kept filling my feed for weeks and weeks, and now that I've finally played the game, I think I understand why. Looking at other open world games kind of made me realize what was so different this time around. GTA 5 is a good game, but what part of it is good? The world is big and looks decent, but it's dead. Like, completely dead. The streets are empty, the NPCs are retarded, and the buildings are pretty much all closed off. On its own, the world is bland and boring. I'm pretty sure everyone has spent hours driving around aimlessly, trying to rob the gas stations and get into police chases, and just trying to make your own fun. But no matter what, it always falls short. Even if you had a minigun and a car that was basically a Batmobile, by the time you got to the end of your crime spree, you just felt bored. Not even mods could save me from this, and GTA ended up being one of the most dry open world experiences I've ever played. But it was still a good game, just not a good sandbox. And all those hours spent modding tried to fix that fundamental problem with the game, even though to Rockstar that was never the point, and thus never a problem at all. GTA 5 is a goofy story about a murderous redneck, a stereotypical LA rich dude, and a normal black guy. Watch Dogs 3 is about I don't know, and I don't care, like at all. But that's not a bad thing. The thing that makes me excited is the potential for a sandbox experience that we've never had before. The only thing that came close was Shadow of Mordor, but even that fell short because of a mediocre base game. To me though, Watch Dogs has always had a solid foundation. I like the shooting and cover mechanics, the world is big and detailed, and you could interact with it unlike any other game. And now it might have that missing piece. An overwhelming sense of freedom that really might make it into something special. Other open world games try to be balanced. They try to deliver you the best of both worlds by giving you the freedom of an open world and the structure of a linear story. The best way I can describe it is like Nesquik. It's not too sweet, the flavor's there, but it's not all front and center. You can focus on other things if you want, and it's not too creamy. Having a background is important, but if it's overwhelming, everything becomes bland. It ends up being kind of flat, but that perfect balance is what makes it so good. Games never hit that perfect mark though. Almost always they miss somewhere. In GTA 5, the world was huge, but it was empty. You couldn't do anything in it but drive around and spend way too much time doing nothing. And because of all that time, you couldn't ignore that fact. In LA Noir, it was the opposite. The world was there, but it never mattered. The only thing of concern was the next case, and the map was just a buffer between you and the mission. It always felt like it got in the way because you weren't let free enough. Watch Dogs, from everything I've seen, isn't trying to strike this perfect balance at all. Instead of precisely hitting the mark of structure and freedom, every bit of coverage I've seen is about how the game is about your actions in the world and the game creating interesting situations for you on the fly. It's all about making the richest open world with no overreaching plot to distract you. The story doesn't consist of plot points and missions the game's creators put together for you. Instead, the only thing that matters is your interactions with the world and the stories you make through that. If it ends up being a dumb gimmick, the game will be the strawberry Nesquik of gaming. Like, it's different, I guess. Tastes good, but I'm not gonna go out of my way when regular Nesquik is objectively better and easier to find. But if it is something special, and these gameplay systems are that amazing, then we will have the chocolate milkshake of gaming. Something that has way more depth in its creaminess than bunny milk. And even if I can't taste anything else but that overwhelming richness, it doesn't matter, because that diabetic punch of flavor will keep me coming back and keep me shooting goo after every single sip.